Good.
Hello. How is everybody? We're in the holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yes, I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving and all the family gatherings. Alicia and I, this has been a huge topic of conversation for us lately. And we were like, we really have to share this with everybody. This is what we need to talk about right now because I'm sure there's so many people that are coming up against this as well. And so we always, to me, it's always um, just a privilege to be able to really dig deep and to figure out how I can live into a healthier emotional space because that's important to me. I'm not the kind of person that is like, I'll just pretend like that didn't happen. If something like that like if something happens to me where I am uncomfortable, I have to what do you call it? Disassemble it, figure out why. And, I don't know why it's like that for me, but I guess I'm not okay just floating on the surface. I
Well, I
like to
think
take a
that's
deep
really
breath.
good. It's good to be able to do that because a lot of times, I mean, I know that I've been in places where things like that have happened, and I don't want to, I just want to ignore it. I want to avoid it, and I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to feel it. I don't like it. I just push it back. So to be able to open it up and unravel whatever is going on there is so
Uh-huh.
good. That's very healthy.
Well, I don't know if it's always very healthy. I know that a lot of my family will be like, Auntie,
Oh,
please.
that's so funny.
But I mean, it's just how I'm built. And honestly, the reason we're talking about this is because I'm having personal struggles with this myself. And so I'm like, okay, how can we figure this out? How can we help other people that are going through the same kind of struggles during the holidays? Because we are at a stand that you enjoy your holiday season, that you have wonderful interactions with people, that you get to find the joy in the connection with people, and that we remember the purpose of the holidays. What are they about, and live in that, like really live and relish in what they represent. And so, but if you're too busy, like defending yourself around a toxic situation, you're not going to enjoy the holidays. You're going to dread the holidays. And we don't want that for you. And I don't want that for myself. And I don't want it for Alicia. And so, that's why we're doing the call today. And
Mhm.
those are all the things that we want to address. And it may seem, well, really what we want is we want to help prepare you in how to respond to these different situations. And
Right.
so get out a paper and pen so that you can jot down some of the things that we're going to talk about today, because they could literally be your way out of an awkward situation. Or how can I transition this so that it feels, good and okay, and it's not like reactive and it doesn't create more of an issue, or it's not ignoring it and then you just enable the toxic what do you call it,
Behaviors.
behaviors. Thank you.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then have to deal with them in the future. So
Yes.
that's what it's about today, and I'm super excited. Thank you for taking the time to hear what we have to offer today.
Yes. So we are going to be talking a lot about boundaries and how that is a form of self-care and self-respect for each of us.
Yes.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
so beautiful. But I want to tell you that the content that I'm sharing is from my beautiful friend, Brooke Barney, and she is an integrative nutrition health coach. And I've taken her boundary class. And so if you have other questions or anything, reach out to her. She is such an amazing woman. If you know her, oh, you'll just know.
Thank you,
Um,
Brooke.
yes. But she she has just laid this out so beautifully. I know that you can you can Google like, things, specific boundaries that you need. There's a lot out there, but this is a brief overview. And I just feel like at least knowing the basics going into the holiday season is going to be super powerful. Yeah, boundaries really help us to create a space for positive interaction. And it helps us to feel that we have solid ground going into wherever you're going into, because you know that you can do what's best for you at any moment and feel good about if you have to leave because of a certain situation, that you're not feeling guilty and feeling like, oh, I need to, you know, stay and make everything be okay. I don't want to cause any awkwardness. No, that's not your job. You can't control other people's feelings about things. All you can do is control what feels best for you. And being able to live in that space is powerful. And it takes time to learn all of that. So, so you will see me flipping through my pages because I want to make sure that we don't miss some of the really important things that will help through. What were you going to say?
Just that it really brought up for me how important what you just said is, because you guys, I recently had that personal experience myself. You know, like I have been in a situation where, you know, I have just been like completely open, and yet it has been a toxic relationship. And like being in that situation over time, I didn't realize what was happening to me. And you know how they talk about how when you know, the five people that you hang out with, you become like that, right? Well, I was only around this certain situation, and I wasn't understanding how the way that I was being responded to was affecting how I felt about myself. And like I was in shock to find myself there, because like the rest of my family, that is my support system, you know, like saw me in a different light that I had forgotten because of this toxic situation. And here I was thinking that I was just like, you know, being the support and making sure that everything went through, but it was affecting me so much. Like I had no idea until my real support system like showed up for me and like said, "Oh, this is who you are. You're not this." You know what I mean? And they didn't say that. They just showed me. They treated me in that manner. And then I remembered, oh my gosh, like this is how I've allowed myself to feel. So this is so important, because if you don't take a stand for yourself, and like Alicia said, you create self-respect, you forget who you are. You become who they think you are.
Yeah.
And
it's
that is
super
scary.
important. Yes. And thank you for bringing that up, because it's important for us to realize like people that don't have this education or have not been, that they're not aware of boundaries. They are living in that. So maybe in their own relationships, just like partner type relationships, they're not receiving something that we can give them, which is, this is who you are. You are amazing. You are incredible. You are valuable, you know, like making sure that we do let people know that they are so special, because maybe in their own world, they're not receiving that. And it does bring them down, and pretty soon they don't even remember, you know, how treated. But
exactly.
and then that leads to resentment, emotional turmoil, chronic
Depression,
fatigue, yes, depression. And so it's really important to help them, but also to remember it for ourselves. So when we just allow life to just be how it is, whatever, not having any structure, then that puts us in a place where we are not, maybe not able to say no to things. And so then we end up with so much on our plate, and that's when we start to get overwhelmed, right? Or allowing toxic behaviors to continue, which I see that a lot too, just in different situations, but being able to have a verbiage, which we'll talk about in a little bit, of how to stop something where it is like that toxic behavior, a continuous thing. Noticing if we are being a people pleaser and just wanting to, you know, comfort and do this and make sure everything's okay. Maybe we don't want to feel rejected, or we want to fit in, and so we're just taking it no matter what, no matter how it's affecting us negatively. And then sometimes we might feel like if we're not just open and loving and caring and all of those things, that we're being guilty, like we feel guilty, or feeling that we are selfish because we're just open to the world. We've got to make sure that we are taking time for ourselves. We can't just do everything for everybody. Even though I've been in those places where I want to, like, I want to be able to do so much for all of my kids and for my friends and people, and, you know, but that's just not realistic. We have to be able to draw that line and say, okay, this is what I can do today for this, you know, person or these people or this situation. So.
Because otherwise you get overwhelmed. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is that don't think that you're immune to it just because you, you know, like for me, I was caught off guard, honestly, because I have done over a decade of self-development work. And like, I didn't see it coming because it was in a relationship that's an intimate relationship, right? Not my husband, but someone very close. And so like, anyone, this can happen to anyone, and you don't realize it's happening until you find yourself in that situation. So, I mean, like, this is absolutely crucial to your emotional health.
Okay, so I do want to read this one because I don't want to leave anything out, but this is how to set boundaries. So number 1 is list your priorities in life. List your priorities. Number 2, clarify your need. So this is a place, if you're not sure about what your needs are, explore that. Like, try to, you know, ask yourself, what is it that I need? What do I need right now in my life? Number 3, use I statements as this is what you need or are asking for. I need this. I'm asking for this. Avoid excessive apologies. I used to do that a lot, and that is something that has been taught to me over the years, is to be okay with what I'm asking for, and I don't have to be apologetic for the things that I need in my life. So that's
so good.
Number 5, practice saying no. This, honestly, it's a practice. It took me a long time to be able to say, yes, that this is not going to work for me. Thank you for asking. And sometimes I also want to make sure that I am open to saying yes to some things, because I don't want to just say no to everything. I want to make sure that I am taking a look at what is being offered, and then I get to choose and make that choice. Expect discomfort. It is, I just recently went through having to set a specific placement for myself, and it was difficult, but I'm so glad that I did it. It ended up being such a release of, like, I don't know, what am I trying to say? Like, it was a heaviness. And after I went through the whole thing, then I feel so good about it and so much better.
So just a quick
I'll
comment.
talk about that in a little bit, but let's go through. Oh, sorry, what did you say?
Just a quick comment. We've taught about the enlightened no before.
Yes.
And that that no is a complete sentence. You don't have to
Mhm.
explain. You don't have to give 12 explanations, you know, like of why you're saying no. No is a complete sentence,
Yeah,
period.
yes. Be consistent. So once you set what you need and what you want, then be consistent with that. You don't have to keep moving it around. If you want to and it feels better, then yes. But if you feel like you're having to move it because I better do this so that it fits a little bit better with this other person, you stay consistent with what you need. And number 8, don't expect the other person to know your boundaries until you start implementing and holding to them. So this is really great where you have to make sure that you know what the boundary is. And then once you set it, you can't go back. Like once you say X, Y, and Z, later on, you can't be like, well, okay, and then start to move that gauge again, because then they're not ever going to take you seriously. Or I guess I shouldn't say not ever. It's less likely that they'll take you seriously when you put your boundaries in place. So,
Mhm.
and then boundaries are set to protect you physically, mentally, emotionally, and aid in your overall health and balanced state, not to use as a weapon or a punishment to anyone. Stay true to yourself and keep love and kindness towards others. So that's
Mhm.
one too, because sometimes we think that we can use that as a punishment. It's not for that. It's for our safety, for our overall health. And
I love that. That's so important because I mean, yeah, if you start using boundaries as a weapon, then boundaries becomes toxic and your boundaries are not healthy. And you can and to use that word in association with it really makes it like it really intoxifies the word boundaries. And so it has to be in a healthy way. I love that it comes from love
yes,
and for protection for yourself.
yes. And also I think, and I feel like we've mentioned this before in lots of our calls, but again, when you have a boundary, you cannot make somebody else do something. It's our control. So for example, if someone in your household is doing something that you do not want them to do, you cannot say, if they're living here, you can't say, if you do this again, you have to leave, or you've got to move out. You can't make them do that. Okay, let's get more specific. Like, let's say in a bedroom, okay? Like, you have to leave the bedroom or something like that. You physically can't make somebody leave, right? They could say, no, I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. So what your boundary would be, just the shift it is, I don't feel safe. I'm not comfortable with this. If this doesn't change, then I'm going to leave. Because then you're the person in control. I could go downstairs. I could be in another room. I can, so like make sure that whatever you set, that it doesn't depend on the other person taking action, because that
Mm,
will happen. And so you do your safety with what you can do, because
that makes sense.
I can always be the one to, move into another room or leave a conversation or, drive away. So, so it's just, that's another little, tip, I guess, of when you are
Yeah,
setting your boundaries.
that's so good. Okay.
Um, as we're going into the holidays, I know that a lot of people have, like this is their extended time off. They have vacation, and it's so fun to be able to spend time with family. Another thing that is something to think about is when you are at home or when you are with your family, spend that time with them. Maybe making sure that people from work know that this is our sacred time, this is our sacred space. So if you do call, I will not be answering my phone, or if you leave a text or an email, I'll get back to you, and then you get to say when you have that time available, so that it's not just infringing on any time of your whole vacation or And if it's okay with you, then that's fine. But if you are, you know, in a place where you're like, okay, I really just don't want to have to think about work or anything like that, and you should be able to have that time for yourself.
And remember too that there's people on the other end that could be being toxic and want to control your time. And so you need to take a stand and say, okay, this is my family time. I can get back to you on this date, but not before, because having that extended time away from the office or from work, they might still want to control you. I know that that sounds really crazy, but it's important for you to, you know, have the opportunity to protect yourself and to, you know, not only the self-respect, but for other people to respect you and your time and your family as well, because that's healthy. Anything else is not healthy. It's just not healthy. And it's not you know, something that will benefit you in the long run. It's something that will hurt you. And so we
Yes.
have to recognize those things. We have to recognize what is happening and just being aware, literally just being aware. Like that's why we're having this conversation, is because we just want to bring it like into your radar that, you know, could this be happening to you right now and you don't realize it? And how can we shift that little shift, like Alicia talked about? Don't do things that expect action from them, but setting boundaries where you can act. That is super important. So just you know, have this level of awareness of like, okay, how am I feeling inside my body? Am I tense because I'm about to see this extended relative that always wants to hug and kiss me and I'm uncomfortable with that? You know, like, and then you do what Alicia says and you just keep a distance where that's not going to happen to you. Uh, when you feel that feeling in your gut that you're uncomfortable, listen to yourself. Like this is something that your soul is saying, please protect me. And if you don't protect you, then that means something to you. That means something that changes. Do I trust myself even? You know, like who am I? Like it shakes your foundation to the core if you don't listen to that feeling and you allow it to happen. It shakes your foundation to the core. So what is your holiday going to be like? Are you going to take a stand to protect your peace, to protect your soul, to be an inspiration to others? Because when you say no, people are like, you could say no. Yes, because you know there's um so much sad and horrible things that happen in the world because we don't have boundaries. You know, like uncomfortable situations that you get in because you don't want to say no or you don't want to rock the boat. Rock the damn boat. You know, like, and I'm not saying cause a scene. I'm just saying, you know, like
What
create
we're
a
trying
space
to,
where you're safe.
we're actually trying to get away from making a scene because we're
Right.
in an eloquent way of, I'm not going to put up with this type of behavior, so I'm removing myself from this. So that's exactly.
Yes.
Touch on when you're feeling, I don't know exactly how you said it, but even being around somebody that you don't want to have a hug from or something. Not just for ourselves, but teaching our kids, like kids have a really great internal gauge for this. I feel like when kids want to be with you, they are coming and running and they're so excited, like they can't wait to hug you, right? If you have a child that you notice does not want to be around somebody, a certain person, and they come and maybe hide behind you, or no, I would suggest to not force them to hug people. For some reason, they don't feel safe with that person. They shouldn't have to hug somebody that they don't want to hug. They shouldn't have to kiss somebody that they don't, you know, like receiving a kiss from a relative or something, if it's awkward for them or doesn't feel right for them. I am a big believer in that. And I will never force, I mean, my kids are older now, but I'm talking my grandkids. I would never make my grandkids have to hug somebody or have to let them kiss them on, you know, I just would not do that. And so, but even for ourselves, like I am not comfortable being around men, honestly, like most men. There's a few family members I'm okay with, but I purposely keep a distance because I can't handle it. Like my body gets activated in a very negative way. And so to keep my peace, like you mentioned, I keep a good distance so that there's not that awkward hug. And I have, like, even recently, Anita and I were in a place and I received a hug that I didn't want. And I just had to quickly be like, oh, it's so good to see you, you know, because it is good to see them, but I don't want a hug from them. If that makes sense. But it kind of caught me off guard because, yeah, he just like started rubbing. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to be touched that way. I can't handle that. So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Well,
just
and
caught
the
me off
thing is,
guard. But normally I'm very like, oh,
mhm, yeah, and just in case somebody is watching that doesn't have a backstory, I mean, like you've gone through a traumatic situation,
yes,
marriage, and you're in the middle of a divorce, and so like there's you have your reasons, and
I have my
everybody
reasons.
reasons. And that's why we need to respect each other. We don't know where anybody's at. But I love what you're talking about with children because if you force them, you're teaching them break your boundaries. Let
Absolutely.
yeah, and so like we don't want to teach that in the beginning because you know what? I am just learning how important these boundaries are. I'm just learning that I have to set them in place because I have been affected in a way that has hurt me, and I don't, you know, like I'm just learning. So I want my children to have those boundaries so that they can have that self-respect and truly know who they are and love themselves and being gracious to other people. Because like Alicia says, this is all teaching you how to have an eloquent transition in an awkward situation. It's not because if you allow it to happen for so long that you finally are like, you click and you're like, yeah, that is the wrong way to handle it, where you know, just blow up and then you say all the things and then everybody, you know, no, you've got to be strong enough to take those little steps now so that you start to guide people in this is who she is and this is how I can be in her environment and uh and feel good about it. You know, like people will, it's so crazy, but people will go as far as you let them.
Yes, that's so true. And that's where practice comes in. And you can start practicing with even small things like, I mean, this is super small, but do I want cold water or warm water to drink? You know, like
Mhm.
sometimes we just allow everybody to make decisions for us or to control our lives, and we lose sight of what do I really want and how do I really feel right now? Do I want something cold or do I want, you know, I don't know. That's a really
Yeah.
simple one, but learning how to yeah, stand up for what you want, for sure.
Right. So this is such a long discussion that we're going to do two different sessions on it because right now we're just talking about setting boundaries, but then we're also going to talk about how to set yourself up for success for the holidays, like in a situation with addictions, like if you have a sugar addiction, are you going to eat 12 pies over the holidays and then you know hate yourself afterwards and then feel a certain way about yourself and like you know start the year off with uh, a, a short commitment to losing the weight, you know, like setting yourself up for success. Or if you are you know wanting to, you've been sober and you don't want to drink, what are you going to do when people offer you a drink, like you know just being prepared, all those things. So we're gonna make this two sessions. And next, what's the next date? December.
Um, December 5th.
December 5th. And you guys, if you have questions about, I mean, like no specifics is needed, but if you have questions about what to do in a certain situation, you know, like message us so that we can talk about it and we'll be discreet about it, but so that we can address it. But just wanted you to know that what we have upcoming in the discussion. But Alicia, do you have specific things that you can say in an awkward, uncomfortable situation in the material that you have?
Yes, so verbal, like let's say that there's a verbal conflict or something that you could say, I'll continue our discussion when you are calm and ready to communicate respectfully. So we don't have to stay into that. If somebody's intoxicated and things are getting, heated, you could say, I refuse to have a conversation while you are under the influence. So you're just saying, this is why I'm not going to continue on, and then leave it there. Let's see. Thank you for the invite, but I won't be able to make it to that event. That's super kind and clear, like
And you don't have to have excuses.
yeah. I'm dropping off, maybe it's a gift or food or whatever you have going on. I would love to stay and chat, but I have other plans to attend to. If you are somewhere and you've already been waiting, so this would be, I waited for 20 minutes. Please let me know if you will be running late next time, because that, time is a big gift too. So you don't want to just be wasting time. So letting that person know that you are punctual, or, at least like 20 minutes is a long time to be waiting. Letting them know that you're not going to be waiting around for that long. I would love to volunteer, but I have too many obligations right now. So check back with me next time, which is a great thing. Like I do that quite a bit, actually. I'll say, I'm not able to make it this time, but let me know for next time, because I really, at some point, I want to help. I just can't right now. And so that's allowing my no, but a yes for later, if that works in my later schedule. Hopefully.
Right. Because the last thing you want to do is overwhelm yourself and then being like a chicken with its head cut off all of the holidays, and you don't get a chance to breathe in and to be present and to just like enjoy. So don't overcommit yourself, like it's okay to say, I would love to do that, but my schedule's full, but keep me in mind for next time, like Alicia said.
Yes. Okay. Controversial topics could be, I understand your passion, but we share a different view on this. And it's best if we agree to disagree and respect each other's viewpoints. Or
this is important.
Yes.
Okay.
I know we disagree, but I won't let you belittle me, or please don't belittle me, something along those lines. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, yeah, because this is a heated topic. Like political stuff is so heated, and it's surprising to me that people don't understand how uncomfortable the environment can become under this situation while you're trying to eat a holiday meal. Please, like there's a way to put an end to it where they understand what they're creating and that you don't want to be a part of it. So I love that. Thank you.
Again, if it continues on, you can't make them stop the conversation, but you can
leave
and go somewhere else. Actually, I'm glad that this just came to my mind too. I have a friend that teaches for us to be prepared in any situation, to basically entertain ourselves. And so she always has a little bag with her that has a book, has maybe art supplies for herself. I can't remember what else, like things that if for some reason the situation that she's in isn't okay for her, then she'll go sit somewhere and do her art, or she'll read, or she'll have, I really wish maybe a puzzle. I don't know. She has different things in her bag so that she's okay, because she's creating her space of being okay, while everybody else continues on because maybe they're having a great time talking about political stuff or whatever the conversation may be. And so
you could be the only one with a different view.
I could be the only one. Yeah. And so and then when everything is complete, then she feels okay to be like, okay, and still have a positive, happy joyful, feel for herself
Mhm.
and be able to integrate with them again instead of having it be like this. Well, now I'm just sitting here alone and I don't have nothing to do. And what am I supposed to do?
Right.
So create like having a plan, take what you need with you so
Mhm.
you can be okay. Maybe this
Mhm. And that's
journaling, maybe I think that was the other one, journal. Take your journal with you and you can write or I mean there's
and write out the moment. Like I am in a really uncomfortable situation. I just remove myself from it and like journal through it because that helps you express how you're feeling in that moment. And that is amazing. Even if you
yes.
don't have a journal with you, you can put it in your phone and express your feelings in your phone on the memos or something. But that's part of the preparation is coming with, knowing what to say in an awkward situation or preparing yourself for a moment where you might just be on your own because of whatever the situation is. I mean, like all of these things are how to set yourself up for success. I love it. So that's amazing. Is there any others that you want to share?
No, just knowing that sometimes when we start to shift from the way we've always been to a new place to expect and just know that people will be either angry about it or annoyed or they don't understand and it's okay. They can
Hmm.
see that you're evolving and that you're creating a place
Hmm.
of peace and calm for yourself and I mean they'll get used to it. I
And it's
people that are around me know how I am now from what I used
yeah.
to be. So
Yeah. And so, but I love that expect resistance, because they want you, to be the way you were before, which is, they could pull you from here to there and
yes.
whatever. And so now they're not going to be able to do that. So it's going to be upsetting that they're losing you in that way, but
Mhm.
they're actually gaining a more powerful presence that they'll be inspired by in the future. So hold
Mhm.
your ground, stand your ground, and enjoy the holidays. I am so excited about this conversation, you guys. Hopefully, we can have more people on and we can, just really get the word out about how you can have emotionally uh, healthy holiday around your events. So, thank you so much for being here. Oh, go
I
ahead.
have I
Yeah.
have one more thing to add into your bag of goodness. Essential oils. Take your
Oh
oil
my gosh, Elise.
so that you can breathe them in. That will help to relax and calm with whatever your favorite, whatever you need. I love Adaptive right now. That's my very
Me
favorite
too.
where I just feel so much peace and calm. But it could be lavender, it could be frankincense. I don't wild orange if you need it to uplift. Also remember that you always have your breath. So you can set yourself aside and notice your breath. Start to inhale, a deep inhale, and then exhale it out and just whatever breath cycle you like. There's box breathing where you breathe in for 4 counts, hold it for 4 counts, exhale for 4, hold it for 4. So that's the box breathing. There's all kinds, but have or maybe be aware of what type of breath work helps you to come back down, be a little bit more calm if you're like revved up and angry and so upset. So you always have your breath, even if it's just slowing it down a little bit and you don't have a specific, like, okay, I want to do this step. You know what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Alicia. So important. I mean, like you can definitely in a heated situation excuse yourself, go to the restroom, have your essential oil with you. And because in those moments your heart is racing, you're breathing shallow and doing that breath work with your oils. I'm not kidding you. Adaptive is so amazing for me as well to just help you feel, like you are collected, grounded, centered once again. And then you can, like uh, live out your plan of like, okay, this is how I wanted to handle the situation. And then go back in and handle it the way that you represent yourself well. So, yes, thank you for that. thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy your holidays, and we'll be back next Monday with more. Set yourself up for success during the holidays.
Okay, see you guys. Bye.